Hi everyone, today we have a new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to talk about fresh release from ICM, and it comes in 1/35 scale. So here we have a quite unusual vehicle, and as you can see, it's a World War II British Army mobile chapel, and in 1/35 scale it might be an interesting thing to assemble and maybe even to build some diorama around this vehicle. And of course we have a commercial sample here, so this kit number 35586 is the final shape of this release, and you'll get exactly the same stuff as what you'll see in this video review, so it will be interesting to check what is actually supplied inside this nice box. And as you can see, the box art hints that there should be also some interior parts. So first of all, here we have some information about the kit and the vehicle. So it's written that we have 286 parts, and assembled model will be just 167 millimeters, so not that large build. And here you can see one and only, I guess, the marking option for this vehicle, but we will see more once we open the assembly manual, where they usually print the marking guide. And as you can guess, this vehicle is based on the American truck, so we reviewed the previous versions as well. They are molded in the same scale, but they offer different types of the, or different configurations actually, of this vehicle. So in case you are interested, you can find them all on our YouTube channel as well. So this is a top opening box, and well, it's actually I would say classic structure of the box for ICM. As you can see, this is a color printed top lid, and then we have this sturdy white cardboard box, and inside you'll find all of the parts which are packed into one resealable plastic bag, so it will be quite easy and quick to open. Just give me a second and we will start by checking one by one the screws. I just need to find the resealable flap. Okay, it's here. Straight on the top we have more clear parts included into separate plastic bags, so just give me a second, I'll open them as well. There is one plastic sprue with windows for the rear section. So these are three identical plastic frames, so I will show you on the one because they are, as I said, absolutely identical. So here you can see these parts. We have the framing pre-molded onto these parts, and the molding quality looks really good, so it's just a matter of installing carefully into the rear section, maybe also properly masking them, because as you can guess, the masks are not supplied, and the only hope I have is that at least we will get the masking templates, because sometimes ICM includes them into their kits. There is one more plastic sprue out of clear plastic, so here you can see the parts for the front cap. These are side glasses, the windscreen, the rear glass, and also these lenses for the headlamps. Everything looks really nice, so here I don't have any complaints. And we start, I would say, with a universal plastic sprue, because this one can be used or was used for the previous versions as well. As you can see here, we have the parts for the front cap, and we also get some parts for the wheel axles here. We have also the engine parts here. Then of course the separate doors. This is a really useful thing, because with separate doors obviously you can expose the interior. And if I flip it over, we have also some features inside, so it's not like you can open the doors but there will be just an emptiness inside. Note that there are also some push marks, for example here on the bonnet, so in case you plan to open the bonnet, you have to be careful and clean these things in order to get a bit more convincing appearance, I would say. Next we continue with the new parts. So these are the panels for the rear section, as you can see, and again the design, I would say, somewhat predictable. We have also the separate doors, and also here the cutouts for the windows, and inside we have a bit of the plastic, but also it is interesting that we have pre-molded cross here and various signs. So those things, I guess, will be picked up with the decals. If not, then you can pick them up with the brush painting, obviously, or just masking and airbrushing. It will be your choice already. Next, we continue with more parts for the rear section, so pretty much the same thing. We have the separate panels. Maybe I'll just close the lenses a bit because it's a bit too bright in my opinion. But here you can see that these panels look quite nice. Again, we have cutouts for the windows, and again we have pre-molded here the signs of the cross and also some insignia. So if you know what it is, feel free to write in the comment section and have an opportunity to educate me a bit. Next, we continue with the parts for the engine. So, as you remember, we have the separate bonnet and also the engine, so it might be a good idea to expose it. And as you can see, we have a lot of stuff included out of the box, so ICM here is quite generous, and that's really cool because you actually get to replicate the nice powertrain out of the box without any additional accessories, aftermarket and other unnecessary expenditure. Here we have another new sprue, so this one will be used for the interior stuff. As you can see, we have the piano, we also have the seat, and everything looks nice, especially those separate keys on the piano. Of course, it will be a bit tedious to paint it, but I think it's worth it. And the final result will be quite interesting looking as well. Next, we have a double set of the sprues, so I will show you only one because here we have the plastic road wheels, and maybe it's worth zooming out a bit so that you can see what we are talking about here. So those are wheels which are molded together with the tires. Unfortunately, we don't have any features on the tire walls. Those parts for the rear section, they will not be used because we don't have the tarp version here, but the plastic wheels, of course, they are always welcome addition into the plastic kit because they are easier to paint, they are easier to weather, and the final result looks a bit more convincing. Here we continue with another one, so this one is dedicated to the large chassis bars on both ends. Again, this plate for the rear section, some of the suspension parts, even the steering wheel is here. And again, everything looks really clean and nice. I would say the overall design is somewhat predictable, and yet you get a lot of features out of the box, as I was saying earlier, so this is really cool. And next, I would like to show you the decals sheet. So here I will just zoom in, here it is. There is no mention where it comes from, but overall printing quality looks really great. And as you can see, there are no crosses, so it means you will have to pick them out. Actually here are two, but I think those are applied on the different elements, not the ones which we saw. Okay, so next we continue with assembly manual. I will just close the lenses a bit, and this is a large color printed brochure, so here I will just zoom out. And as you can see, we have the short history note and the paints chart on the cover page. Then we continue with the parts map, and I guess we have to close the lenses a bit more so that you can see that here we have the parts map with the red color, meaning that those parts will not be used in the today's version. So next we start with assembly process. I can see that there are some modifications. You have to cut off the chassis, for example. Then you continue by installing the parts of the suspension, meaning the leaf springs. Here we have the winch. And next we continue with the fuel tank, more of the leaf springs for the front. Here we have the engine assembly, and then engine gets installed onto the subframe. Then we continue with the wheel axles, and we also assemble the suspension parts, some of the suspension parts. Here we have also the exhaust being assembled. So in this design, I would say it's worth planning in advance how you would like to paint all of those parts, because in some cases it will be really hard to reach some of those elements. Next, we start working on the front cap. So as I was saying, there is a quite detailed interior, and I would recommend to spend some time painting it, because again, you can open the door, even though here, as you can see, the door is displayed in a shut position, but the separate door just asks to be open at least from one side. And the same can be said about the bonnet, even though here again it is shown in a shut position. Next, we continue with the assembly of the rear compartment. So here, as you can see, we also assemble these various furniture and items, and then you assemble everything together by let's say connecting those walls which were molded separately. As you can see, a lot of stuff going from all of the sides, so quite an interesting assembly process. Here we continue with the road wheels, and then headlamps, of course. Here we have the windscreen being installed for the version 1. I wonder what will be the version 2, maybe with open windscreen. Yeah, here you can see the lifted windscreen, and that's pretty much all. So yeah, only one marking option, the separate marking option for this music instrument. and there are no masks, as you can see. So if you would like to cover these clear parts, you have to do it with your own hands and tools. But overall, I think it's a really interesting offer from ICM, and it should be already available. You can get it, for example, in Modelimex. Of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion, so do not forget to write it here in the comment section below. And I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye.